Netanyahu. Fallout over the recent brief detention of two prominent rabbis, Yossi and Dov Lior, over their endorsement of the controversial King's Torah book is ongoing. Hartman Institute research fellow Yossi Klein Halevi told IBA's Eli Wogelenter earlier this week that he is highly critical of the religious Zionist leadership for how they dealt with this issue.
I think that Israeli democracy is strong enough and resilient enough to survive the publication of a fringe book by an insignificant figure in the religious world, filled with poisonous theology, but basically confined to the fringe. The problem isn't Israeli democracy, it's Israeli Judaism, the religious Zionist community specifically. And here I would say that this book and the endorsement of this book by several prominent rabbis is a clear and immediate threat to the integrity of religious Zionism. The way in which leading figures in religious Zionism, including otherwise moderate rabbis, rallied around Rabbi Lior and Rabbi Yosef against the supposed persecution or intrusion of the secular system into the religious sphere is, I think, itself the problem. That's what worries me, far more than the book itself. And the fact that the religious Zionist community has not taken a decisive stand to expel from its midst this kind of poisonous racist theology. And there's nothing more dangerous than combining racism with theology. We see that happening in the Muslim world. The fact that the religious Zionist community would sooner tolerate Jewish jihadists than see their power or their honor infringed. This is the concern. They speak about the honor of the Torah, the honor of the rabbinate. What honor and what Torah?
But one of the moderate rabbis, Rabbi Druckman, he said that he was against it theologically, but he was upset at the way the rabbis were being treated.
You know what? I'll give the rabbis in the religious Zionist community their due if they speak out as vehemently against the racist theology that was endorsed by Rabbi Lior as they do against the procedures of the police and the legal system here. I want to see that same visceral, emotional rage about the desecration of the Torah being committed by Rabbi Lior and his friends as they display toward the police and the legal system.
But to them, it was an insult to their whole way of being, the way the rabbis were treated by the police and the prosecutors.
The real insult to their entire way of being is the publication of that book and the relative silence with which that book was greeted in the religious Zionist community. That's the Chilul Hashem, the desecration of God's name. Whether or not the police or the legal system acted wisely, I think that's a legitimate question that should be debated. But there's a far deeper question here for the religious Zionist community, and once again, it's avoiding a self-confrontation.